Well, hello guys, ¿qué pasa? Antonio Serrano here to talk to you about something that I love. In this case, I'm going to do one of my favorite types of videos, which is my top 5 routines in a very specific kind of magic. In this case, we are talking about card routines. Very specific. I have my phone here with my notes. When I talk about card routines, I am a stage or cabaret magician, so I would like to talk about card routines that with very little props, you can fill a whole stage. That's my kind of magic, that's the kind of magic that I love. So let's talk about that. My top 5 with some honorable mentions card routines. In top 5, I have Mark James multiple choice. I could have chosen basically any multiple choice routine, but I chose Mark James because I love his presentation, his delivery. He's an outstanding comedy magician. I have talked about that in other videos, I think, but you have to check out on Spotify. That's where I listen to it. His podcast, Talking Stick, when he talks with different magicians about his set, his show, and it is great. You get to know how difficult it is to create an original show and stand by it and continue searching for a method to do the thing that you have in your mind. Is a great podcast. And I love his multiple choice routine because he keeps it very low-key, like a deck of cards. He takes out a book to show the book. I don't remember the author of the book. I don't know if it is Max Malini. Is a very old vintage magician, and this guy entertain a whole audience with just a pack of cards, and I will love to do that with you. And in his penguin lecture, he does a great trick with a ball of thread, right, inside of a jar, where people say numbers and they add the numbers. He do like an average, and that's exactly the length of the yarn, which is write it down inside of an envelope. And then he continues with the show and he does the multiple selection, and it is great. He has cards appearing, changing from different places to the shoe, under the heel. The deck vanishes and only one card remains, and the last card is inside the ball of thread, and they have to pull it out, running through the whole audience, which is great. All the audience is giving the thread to the person behind them, and at the end you have like a plastic egg, something like that, and you open it up and inside you have the last card. And he has that sentence, that British sentence line, which is, how long is a piece of string, something like that, right? And when the last person asks, what about my car, he goes, how long is a piece of string? And they are like, no way. So it's a great multiple choice. It's a great routine. At number 4, one of my masters, Paul Daniels' car to wallet. Well, when I say one of my masters, I talk about one of my masters in the distance, right? I never met the guy, I never had the chance, but I have studied him like crazy, because he's one of the magicians that completely understood that you have to fill the stage with presence, being you, not with props. And he also had very big routines and things like that, but he had routines like this one, like car to wallet, where he take out from the audience a couple of guys, ask them for money to bet. He takes out his wallet to bet too. He takes the deck of cards. He has like a great, in his DVD set, Bravura, which if you don't have them, you are wasting your time performing magic without having that knowledge. As David Penn said in the Wizard Product or Wizard Magic review, he said, after watching the Bravura DVDs, I felt lazy for not putting that much effort inside of my show. It's great. So in Bravura he has that routine. He has for money, he takes the deck of cards to bet. He takes the deck of cards and he has like a forcing sequence where every time the guy picks the same card, he evens with a normal deck in use. He gives the deck to the other guy and said, you fend the cards and he's going to take one card, and the guy takes a card from the other guy's hands and it is the same card with a normal deck of cards in use, and you are watching that and you are like, that's unbelievable. How can you accomplish that? And when you see the explanations, you get even more full. So it is great. And what I love about this routine is that it's basically card to wallet, a routine that everyone does close up. If you say to a guy, okay, go on that stage in front of 1,000 people and do your card to wallet routine, they would shit their pants. They would go like, how? In front of 1,000 people, card to wallet? That's impossible. How am I going to do that? And Paul Daniel does it better than anybody else because he's the GOAT. He's a master in his craft. He was a master in his craft. So what a great routine. Number 3, McComical prediction. A lot of guys have different approaches. I love, for example, Robert Bax's routine using cereal boxes, and it's basically the same idea. But I wrote down here the Handsome Jack, John Lovick approach, and it is great. Basically, it's like a fooler and a fooler against people. The public, the crowd thinks that you are fooling the guy on stage because all of the cards are the same, so he's obviously going to choose the card that you predicted. But when the guy chooses the card, it's a completely different card and your prediction has changed. So the trick works, and it is surprising for the guy on stage because he simply has seen a prediction going well, but it is incredible for the audience too, because they are seeing a couple of cards changing. That all of the cards are the same, but he took a card that has nothing to do, and his card was a different card, and he changed for another one. So what a great comedy routine, the McComical prediction. And I love, as I told you, the approach that Robert Baxt has, and the Handsome Jack, John Lovick, like talking about a date. If you take the right card, you have a date with me. And that's great. When you have a character so well thought of, like Handsome Jack, like I am this model, that I am so handsome, I am the sexiest man alive. When you have a character so well thought out, basically the ideas for approaching a routine, they come to you. And that's great. It's something that I love to do is when I'm watching a series or something like that, take a character. You are watching, for example, I don't know, The Big Bang Theory, and you say, okay, Sheldon Cooper. If I had to do a magic show being Sheldon Cooper, what tricks would I do and what would be my approach, right? And you are going to have like 15 or 20 tricks like that in a second. The reason why it is so difficult for you to decide what to do and what not to do in your show and how to approach it is because your character is not as well scripted and as well thought out as Sheldon. Sheldon is a great character and you know everything about it. If you have to imagine Sheldon Cooper going to the bathroom, you know how he's going to do it. If you have to imagine Sheldon Cooper buying groceries, things that you have never seen in the series, you know how he's going to do it. Because the character is extremely well written. So that's the thing that you have to do for your own character. If you have a character like a Handsome Jack, the John Lovick character, you say, okay, I want to do my comical prediction, and automatically you have like 5 or 6 ways to address that routine because you know how your character would approach it. Okay? Number 2, oh my god, whoa. I don't even know how to address this. Mac-King Cloak of Invisibility. Cars across could be the most boring routine ever. Like, take this card, you have 10 cards, count here, 10 cards, put it there. And Mac-King has it down, man. It's incredible, it's great. And when you hear interviews of him and he starts explaining to you what he is watching when he chooses the volunteers to go with him for this trick, how he always chooses people that, most especially women, that are going to put the 10 cards in an interesting place so he can make fun of it. It's great. And overall, the cloak of invisibility, the idea of putting on this poncho and being invisible and being able to move things around without people seeing it, it's the best. It's the best cards across ever. In the Paul Daniels DVD, going back to Paul Daniels, in his Paul Daniels DVD Bravura, he also does cards across. And he says that some magicians told him, to Paul Daniels, that he copied another magician's presentation for cards across. And he said that's something that happens a lot in the magic community. A couple of magicians end up with the same result, something similar, something that could be very, very similar, but I didn't copy anyone's routine. And you do, and Paul Daniel said, "Do you know how I can assure you that I didn't copy anyone's routine? Because if I wanted to copy a Cars Across routine, I would have copied Mac King's cloak of invisibility." And he's like, "Oh my God, Paul Daniels, like a lifetime legend, is praising the Cars Across routine from Mac King." So something that you can beat. You can't beat Mac King's Cars Across. It's as simple as that. Okay, and before my number one routine, I'm going to talk about my honorable mentions. I love Arthur Trey's eye card to pocket. He basically says that he's going to perform a card trick to music, but a lot of people told him that the music that he chose is so bad that no one should ever hear it. So he takes out his iPhone or his iPod with the headphones and he starts dancing and he puts the phone in its pocket and he does card to pocket. And at some point of the routine where the spectator puts the hand inside the pocket to retrieve the card, what he finds is the phone or the iPod. And when he takes off the headphones and pulls the cable out, the card of the spectator is tied up at the end of the headphones. What a great thought of routine. Arthur Trey's as Hannibal, the magician, the storyteller magician, as Hannibal said, is one of the very few magicians that you can see them as artists. It's like this guy chose to do magic because he likes doing magic, but he is an artist. It's a great routine. More honorable mentions: Cody Fisher Killer Prediction. If you want the elevator pitch, the best presentation you could ever find for an invisible deck. It's as simple as that. Not only because of the paper balls and having the name of the card written down in the paper balls that you throw to the audience to have them giving the information about the card. Not only because of the paper balls, but also because of the handling of the invisible deck. I remember the amount of times that I've been doing invisible deck in front of a crowd and I had people in the back and I was like blocking with my body and making the trick look very bad. And Cody Fisher talks perfectly in his Penguin live lecture, and the product by itself, I learned it in his Penguin live act lecture. He explains how to handle the invisible deck, so it doesn't matter if you are looking at it from the front or from the back, you don't see anything weird. And it's great, the handling. And he calls it the double reality invisible deck or something like that. It's simply outstanding. It's great. Okay, and he also uses a gimmick invisible deck, which is a little bit redundant, but not a normal invisible deck, but a gimmick invisible deck that you can show to the audience member and he would see that it is completely normal. So what else can you ask for a routine? It's like invisible deck is strong by itself, but it can be seen from both sides. The deck can be examined at the end, and then you have like 3 pieces of paper that said Queen of Clubs, which is the card that they freely name out loud, and you show reversing the pack. You can get stronger than that. It's very difficult to get stronger than that. In my last honorable mention, I have Simon Lovell Dancing Jack. I don't remember the name exactly. I was looking through my archives of videos and all that stuff. This was in Men of Danger, and I don't remember the volume, but it is a routine that I have adapted to do in my big show with jumbo cards, and he does this in Men of Danger at a bar, doing like bar magic, and he has like 4 jumbo aces. He shows the 4 jumbo aces. He puts them face down on top of the bar. Someone chooses a card from a regular sized deck, and when he takes that little card, which is a jack usually, the jack starts dancing on top of the jumbo aces, and when he stops, that means that ace is not from the same suit. So it is the ace of diamonds, okay, this is the jack of hearts, and this is the ace of clubs, and this is the ace of spades, so the last remaining ace is the ace of hearts, because this is the jack of hearts. And when the spectator turn around the jumbo card, it is a jumbo jack of hearts. And when Simon Lovell turns around the jack, the poker sized jack, it is the ace of hearts. So it's like they change places. It's a great routine, very commercial routine. It is great to carry in your inside pocket 4 jumbo cards and you are ready to go. It is extremely well thought of, and I have a version, something like that I perform in my bigger shows that is 95-97% based on that routine. So to finish very quickly, my number one, my top one card routine to perform on stage or things like that is Jeff Hobson card to mouth. This is the best card routine that you are going to see for a stage, not only because of the impact and the lines and the comedy, because of the sensation that you have that this man is in charge. This man is in front of 1,000 people on a stage, and he walks in simply with a deck of cards and a marker, and he has everyone at the edge of their seat. Everyone is laughing, everyone is having a ball, and he's performing card to mouth. And we can say for this routine the same thing as we say for Paul Daniels' card to wallet. Workers, close-up workers that do regularly card to wallet or card to mouth, if you say to them, okay, go to that theater, you're going to be in front of 1,200, 1,500 people, and you have to do card to mouth, they would be like, what are you talking about? How am I going to do card to mouth in front of that many people? Well, you have to take a look at Jeff Hobson's routine, card to mouth. You can search it on YouTube and you are going to have a ball. So please tell me, is there any routine that I have completely forgotten about and I should kill myself for not being able to remember? Let me know in the comments. Comment, share, like. Thank you very much, guys, and I see you in the near future.